Collectors, thrifters, and savvy shoppers, listen up. Perfectly Picked Games brings you the best board game and toy deals live every week. Join our Whatnot shows on Tuesdays and Fridays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern for limited time auctions you won't find anywhere else. First timer? Use Golden Mojo to take 10% off your first purchase. Fast deals, fun finds, and big savings on Whatnot.
Spooky chasers, hop on in the car with Golden J and take a ride down Route 66 as you explore all the haunted and abandoned places left down a road long ghosted. And you never know what hitchhiker might get picked up along the way. So buckle up as we take a haunted trip down 66.
Hello, all of my paranormal freaks out there. It is Golden J, and we're taking a haunted trip down 66. Thank you guys for riding shotgun with me on this rambling, tambling, bugging, crazy-ass road trip. Route 66 is so iconic. It is one of the greatest roads that ever existed that doesn't exist anymore, but it still exists. I mean, it's crazy to think about, to be honest, how important Route 66 was early on, only to be bypassed and just kind of vanish. So much. If you can see right over my head here, my brand new sign, Route 66, that J-Dub got for me. You find this stuff everywhere. All this iconic, great Route 66 stuff, and just every little shop everywhere. You know, you get some new stuff, but every once in a while you'll find that little gem of something that actually came off of the original Route 66, say in an antique shop or something like that. But it's such an iconic road, and to be able to research it and just see all of the great places that it goes through, whether, you know, you're talking about Alton, or obviously starting in Chicago, going through Flagstaff, or it's crazy to think that this was the road that took you east to west, and that was it. And of course, as we grow, as we become more, I don't even know, I want to say impatient, but that's the wrong word. But as we continue on technology wise and things getting faster and need to get there quicker, you know, with the new interstate that goes up, Route 66 just kind of faded away. I remember the resurgence for me was my friend Johnny, and God rest his soul. He was an amazing person. He was Norwegian, and I remember talking to him. He loved once a year to bring his friends down from Norway, and they would start in Chicago on motorcycles, and they would ride the entire Route 66. And then in California, they would ship all of their motorcycles back to Norway on a load them in a box and ship them back. And he did this for a lot of years. He spent the entire year buying up motorcycles for his guys, and they would all fly down and they would take this iconic ride together. And then he would just load up his bike on their trailer, and then he would hightail it back in the van that was kind of like their chase van, you know, that had all the extra parts. And I mean, they did it right. He was a well-traveled man. He was a motorcycle racer. Would wear the band Gunner t-shirts all the times he would go race motorcycles. He used to race Royal Enfield motorcycles, and the dude was amazing. And he passed away a couple years ago, and the world has lost a great icon, to be honest. Even though he was just a little guy in a little town, he was definitely an icon, and I miss him. I miss seeing him. I miss talking to him. He was pretty amazing. I might have partied with him a time or two, and let me tell you, that dude would out-party me any day of the week. He was just an awesome dude. But yeah, he's the one that refurbished my love of Route 66. And when I got a chance to do this for you guys and to take you down this paranormal path, and I just knew I had to do it. And it was as much as for me as it was for you, as it was for you, as it was for me. And it's been amazing. This, guys, is actually our last Route 66 episode. We have traveled, when we finish today in this episode, we have traveled almost 2,200 miles down Route 66. And it says that it takes 1 day and 8 hours to drive it if you were to drive it straight through. Now, do I know that for a fact? I mean, I haven't done it, and I don't know that I could drive that many hours in one sitting without having to take a nap somewhere in there. So, you're talking a 2 to 3 day journey if you wanted to see everything. My buddy Johnny, he took the whole week. Like I said, they did it upright. It's hard to say how many times he stopped at the old Reyes motel just for a quick bite to eat before they moved on, or maybe they stayed there. I don't know. But yeah, my love for Route 66 on to you. And I hope you've enjoyed this journey as we get into this very last episode. So let's go. Just outside the rush of Los Angeles, there is a town that feels like it slipped through time. Tree-lined streets and craftsman homes, a quiet residence of modern chaos. And at the center of it, all darkened, waiting, and very much awake, is the Rialto Theatre. Founded in the 1800s, South Pasadena grew as a refuge from the sprawl of LA. It became a town known for preservation, community, and memory. While much of Southern California was torn down and rebuilt, South Pasadena chose to protect its path. That decision may be why places like the Rialto still feel occupied. This is a town that remembers who it was. The Rialto Theatre opened in 1925. A masterpiece of Spanish architecture designed to dazzle. With the ornate ceilings, the sweeping staircases, and the grand auditorium, the Rialto wasn't just a movie house, it was an event. For decades, it hosted films and live performances, community gatherings, and countless first dates. Thousands passed through its doors. Emotions ran high: joy, heartbreak, anticipation, and of course, disappointment. When newer theaters arrived, the Rialto slowly faded. But in the late 1970s, it closed its door, reopening only spontaneously for special events, concerts, and maybe the short film. But even when the lights went out, the theater itself was never empty. The Rialto has long been whispered about among staff, musicians, and paranormal investigators. With disembodied footsteps on the balcony and stage, voices echoing through empty hallways, cold spots in the auditorium, objects moving backstage, and the feeling of being watched from the upper seats. Many believe the spirits are former patrons or performers who never stop coming back for the show. One of the most common apparitions is a woman seen sitting alone in the balcony. Witness described her wearing vintage clothing, quietly watching the stage. A former caretaker said he would regularly see her out of the corner of his eye. When he climbed up the stairs to investigate, the seat was always empty, but still warm. Other witnesses reported hearing soft applause after rehearsals ending when no one else was in the building. A musician rehearsing late at night recalled hearing a man's voice call his name from the stage. Thinking it was a sound tech, he responded, only to be met with silence. Moments later, the house light flickered on all by themselves. A film crew member said that while shooting overnight, a heavy door slammed shut behind her. When she tried to reopen it, it wouldn't budge, until she calmly said, "Okay, I'm leaving." The door immediately swung open. One paranormal group captured EVPs that sounded like murmured conversations, overlapping voices as if a crowd was gathering before a performance. The Rialto isn't abandoned, it's just resting. Like South Pasadena itself, it stands as a reminder that history doesn't need to be erased to move forward. Some places deserve to be remembered exactly as they were. And maybe some spirits feel the same way. And that theater, it still waits for the lights, for the crowd, and for the show. All right, let's move on. Hollywood was built on dreams, and they are built on big ones. Fame, fortune, and immortality. We're stepping into a place where some of those dreams just never learned how to let go. Across from the TCL Chinese Theater, glowing under neon and palm trees, stands the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel, a landmark of old Hollywood glamour and one of the most haunted hotels in LA. In the early 1900s, Hollywood transformed from quiet farmland into a beating heart of the film industry. Actors, directors, writers, and dreamers all flooded in, chasing stardom and running from their pasts. Hollywood promised reinvention, but reinvention always comes with a cost. Behind the spotlights were broken contracts, addictions, affairs, and lives lived way too fast. And places like the Roosevelt absorbed it all. The Hollywood Roosevelt opened in 1927, but specifically catered to the booming movie industry. It became Hollywood's social center almost instantly. The very first Academy Awards were held here in 1929 in the Blossom Ballroom. Legends like Marilyn Monroe, Clark Gable, Charlie Chaplin, and Montgomery Clift all stayed here. Some rose to fame, some fell apart, and some just never left. The Roosevelt's most famous spirit is believed to be Marilyn Monroe. She lived at the hotel early in her career while modeling and struggling to break into film. Staff and guests were reported seeing her reflection in mirrors, especially in room 229 and near the old cabana by the pool. Housekeepers claim mirrors fog without steam, revealing a faint outline of a woman's face. Guests say they feel playful energy, laughter, warmth, and a sense of someone admiring themselves just out of view. One guest reported watching her reflection smile when she didn't. Another well-known spirit is a small male apparition, sometimes referred to as a former actor or employee. He's been seen in the hallways, darting from room to room and lingering near elevators. Guests report feeling tugged at night, blankets pulled, or tapped on the shoulder, only to find that there was nobody there. Unlike many hauntings, this presence is described as curious rather than threatening. The pool area is a major hotspot. Guests have reported hearing splashing after hours, Footsteps on wet tiles and voices echoing across the water after the bar is closed. The Blossom Barroom site of the first Oscars is another center activity. Staff report sudden cold drafts, music playing faintly with no source, chairs shifting on their own, and the overwhelming feeling of being watched during setup. Some believe the energy of 1,000 performers, nervous, hopeful, terrified, left an imprint that still replays itself. A hotel guest staying near Marilyn's room said she woke up to the sound of humming. Thinking it was music from outside, she realized it was coming from inside her room. The sound stopped the moment she turned on the lights. A bartender closing late felt a hand brush past his arm behind the bar. Assuming it was a coworker, he turned to apologize. No one was there. And the mirror behind the bar had briefly fogged and then cleared. A paranormal investigator captured an EVP in the Blossom Ballroom that sounded like a woman softly saying, "I am ready." A phrase eerily fitting for an award ceremony. Another guest reported waking to find her suitcase unpacked, clothes neatly folded on the chair. She was alone, and the door was locked. The Hollywood Roosevelt isn't frozen in the past, it thrives on it. It still hosts celebrities, premieres, parties, and those late-night conversations that stretch into the dawn. Hollywood still runs on hope, and maybe that's why the spirits stay. Because for some of them, the story never ended, the spotlight never faded, and the applause never stopped. So, if you find yourself in the Roosevelt, drink in hand, palm trees swaying, music drifting through the halls, check the mirrors. Listen for laughter. And remember, in Hollywood, everybody wants to be remembered. Normally at this point, we kind of end the show, end the episode. But we only have one more stop along the way. One more. In Santa Monica. So you get 3 places this episode. And then we will have finished our trip down 66. Kind of sad. Kind of feels final. But it doesn't have to be. We're heading to the edge of the continent, where the Pacific Ocean crashes against the shore, neon glows along the Ocean Avenue, and the past refuses to stay buried beneath the sand. Across from the Santa Monica Pier stands an Art Deco wrapped in ocean mist and old Hollywood secrets. That's right, we're at the Georgian Hotel. Santa Monica has always been a place of transition, where travelers end their cross-country journey staring out at the Pacific, wondering what came next. In the 1920s and 30s, Santa Monica became a playground for Hollywood's elite. Actors, producers, mob-connected fixers, and celebrities seeking privacy just outside of LA. A place like the Georgian didn't just host them, it protected them. Opened in 1933, the Georgian was the crown jewel of Santa Monica. Its Art Deco design, ocean views, and discreet staff made it a favorite among celebrities and power players. But beneath its refined surface, rumors swirled. During Prohibition, the Georgian was said to host illegal speakeasies, secret poker games, and underground tunnels connecting it to nearby buildings and possibly even the pier. Organized crime figures were rumored to frequent the hotel, conducting business far from prying eyes. Some guests checked in under alias, and some were never seen again. Over the decades, the Georgians saw overdoses, suicides, and quiet cover-ups common in Hollywood's golden era, but rarely documented. Staff whispered about rooms where guests complained of unseen visitors, cold drafts, and the feeling of being watched from the corners of the furnished suites. When the hotel later closed for years of renovation, activity report increased as if whatever lived there noticed the silence. Guests and employees have reported apparitions in period clothing in the hallway, phones ringing in empty rooms, cold spots near ocean-facing suites, doors unlocking themselves, and heavy footsteps late at night when the hotel was quiet. Some believe the spirits are former guests who never finished their business, legal or otherwise. One of the most commonly reported apparitions is a woman seen wearing blue or a greenish dress. That's different. They're always in white. Often near the staircase or the upper floors. She appears calm and almost curious. Guests say she fades away when approached, leaving behind a faint scent of perfume and sea air. Sea air. Housekeepers have reported finding rooms disturbed, drawers open, beds pressed down, as if someone had just stood up and walked away. A guest staying in the upper floor says she woke to the sound of someone pacing near her bed. Assuming it was noise from the hallway, she turned on the lamp, only to see a deep impression on the mattress beside her, slowly lifting if someone had just stood up. A former employee recalled being locked inside a service corridor after hours. As panic set in, she heard a calm male voice say, "This way." The door behind her unlocked on its own moments later. Another visitor, photographing the lobby late at night, captured a reflection of a man standing behind her, wearing a suit consistent with the 1930s. No one else was present. Several guests reported vivid dreams of parties and music and laughter, waking with the sense that they had been invited somewhere they couldn't quite remember. Santa Monica marks the end of the road. Literally. Route 66 ends here. The journey stopped. Decisions were made. The Georgian still stands exactly where it always has. Watching the ocean, listening to the city, holding on to stories that never made it into the history books. Some places absorb endings, and some endings don't want to be final. So, if you find yourself staring out over the Pacific from Ocean Avenue, and the lights flicker behind you at the Georgian Hotel, remember, every journey ends somewhere. Guys, it has been my honor to take you down Route 66. Thank you for riding shotgun. What do we do next? I got some ideas, but we're going to give it a minute. And we'll be back with some of our Saturday episodes. Thank you guys. And keep it spooky, because I'll see you on the other side. Thank you for listening to the United States of Paranormal podcast. Check us out at theunitedstatesofparanormal.com, where you can find our Spotlight of the Month, Fan of the Month, and all of our amazing merchandise. Or you can find us on social media at Facebook at the United States of Paranormal, Instagram at the United States of Paranormal, and YouTube at the United States of Paranormal 1795. And don't forget, we are now on Patreon. just go to patreon.com/2sop.
Please check out the other podcasts in the Golden Mojo Entertainment Network of podcasts. Golden 80s, Indiana Chiefs Fans, Gridiron Kings, Murd Nerds, The Nostalgia Tug, Real Terror, and the Puck Yeah podcast. But you can still find Golden Image Podcast, A Quart of Books and Booze, and The Call Guys, wherever you stream your favorite podcasts.
And if you have a location or a story that you would like for us to check into, please email us at the United States of Paranormal at gmail.com. Please like, rate, and subscribe wherever you listen. Thank you for all of your support. Bye.